The first condition that we're going to talk about is contact dermatitis. And contact dermatitis is exactly what it says. Somebody has come in contact with something that has caused inflammation or itis of their derm, their skin. So these pictures are all examples of people who have had contact dermatitis for various different reasons. There are two different types of contact dermatitis, allergic and irritant, and for the most part, it's not really important to know the difference as far as diagnosis. It's important to know the difference as far as what is the mechanism and the physiology that's going on in the person's body. But by looking at it, you're not going to know the difference. Allergic contact dermatitis is a form of hypersensitivity. It's type 4 delayed hypersensitivity reaction. That is something that is important for you to remember. This is going to be something that is an antigenic response in your skin. And so what can happen is if you have a contact with something that you have been sensitized to, the reaction on the skin is not just going to occur where you made contact with that antigen, but it can occur systemically all over the body. So sometimes people say they have poison ivy and all of a sudden it's spread all over the place. It's because it's not just contact dermatitis where they contacted the oils of the plant, but their body has produced an antigenic response to that, and so it can pop up with lesions in other places of the body. The irritant dermatitis is going to be the most common. So you've come in contact with something that's irritating to the skin, and it produces an inflammatory reaction on the skin. Diaper rash is a good example, and I'll show you some pictures of other examples of irritant dermatitis in this group of slides. And the thing that makes this different than the allergic dermatitis is that it's only going to occur where the skin came in contact with the irritant. So, who gets this? Anyone can get this. It's important to ask questions about where people have been, what do they do, what have they been exposed to try to help them to identify what it is that's caused this. But it knows no race, age, or season. And the most common complaint that people are going to present with is going to be complaints of pruritus, which is a word for itching. What will you see when you look at these types of conditions? You'll see a lot of erythema. You may have some swelling vesicles, which are, the tiny blisters. Some of them may have ruptured and have oozing. You may have scaling. If this is a chronic irritant, then you have lichenification occurs on the skin, where the skin becomes thickened because of constant rubbing and itching. Excoriations are common because, like I said, that the complaint is going to be pruritus. The reaction to pruritus is to scratch, right? These can be in different places on the body. Linear lesions are typically seen with something like a plant dermatitis, so like poison ivy, poison oak, poison sumac, wherever you've contacted the plant, and typically we've gone hiking and walking in the woods or something, and it just brushes up against you. So usually you see these linear rashes with plant dermatitis. Irritant dermatitis, like I said, is going to be only in the place that has contacted the irritant. Okay, so this is going to look a lot like other skin conditions. It could look like atopic dermatitis, which is eczema. It could look like just urticarial reaction. Chronic contact dermatitis can look as bad as psoriasis. This condition can be acute or chronic depending on if you recognize what the irritant is and remove the exposure to that. If it is something that's recurrent or chronic, a lot of times they will try to find a definitive reason to what is going on and do the patch testing that I talked about in an earlier video. The things you can do to help take care of this are to avoid the irritant, for one. Topical antihistamines or topical corticosteroids are helpful in soothing and relieving that irritant or the pruritus that comes along with that. In severe cases, they will give oral steroids and antihistamines. Here are some examples of contact dermatitis. This picture here on the left is showing you those linear markings that go with something called like poison ivy. This here is an irritant or contact dermatitis around the waistline. So this person may have a latex allergy or elastic, because it looks like something was in their waistline. So maybe like elastic in a pair of sweatpants or undergarments could have caused the irritation there. This is really common. We call this nickel dermatitis. And it is most likely produced from the button on her jeans or his jeans, and causing the irritation on the skin. Here's another example of nickel dermatitis where the jewelry, see how it's the exact same shape as the rash here, the jewelry was probably setting over top of the skin there and caused an irritant reaction. So this is nickel dermatitis. And then this is an example of irritant dermatitis in the form of diaper rash. Here in this picture, this person obviously had a irritant reaction to a henna tattoo. Here is an example of the patch testing that we talked about on the last video. So here on the right, you see the impregnated patches are put on the person's back. When the patches are removed, you see the different reactions. So like this would be a definite allergy. This is an allergy. See the large wheels are signifying a large reaction to the antigen. But like, see this column here, this person has no reaction to anything that was in that set of patches. And that is it for contact dermatitis.